I'm here today with Dr. Roger Wu. Roger, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Today we're going to talk about dry eyes and what that means for people in general. Is it good? Is it bad? How bad is it? How bad the problem is? And what can we do as consumers? What can we do as people staring at a screen the whole day? First of all, Roger, what is your specialty, your medical specialty?
Okay, I'm an optometrist. I primarily focus on general ocular pathologies. I've been trained with ophthalmologists back at Hahnemann University, also Pennsylvania College of Optometry back in '97. That's when I graduated. The first few years, I was basically working with at the LASIK Center in Pasadena, and then general ophthalmologist from 1999 to 2005. And then opened up my own practice in 2005, my first one, 2005, and the second one in 2009, I believe, yes.
And where do you have your practice?
My main one is in West Covina, California, Los Angeles County. The second one is actually in Laverne, California. So I don't personally see patients there.
Okay. And you decided to create this drink called the eye drink. So why did you decide to create it?
Number one is out of frustration because 20-something years ago, before the smartphone, before the iPad came out, dry eye is not as prevalent. If we see a young adult getting dry eye, the first thing we did back then was order blood tests. There's got to be something systemically, something wrong, something inflammatory within their system to cause dry eyes. Nowadays, it's so common, it's really worrisome. We have patients as young as 8-year-old getting dry eye because over summer, they basically are staring at their iPad all summer long. When school started, the eyes become very irritated. Eye rubbing too, and initially it was misdiagnosed as allergy, and a lot of pediatricians will actually just prescribe allergy medication, which will make the eye even drier. So that became a more and more common issue these days. So right now, the number one culprit, the number one cause of dry eyes is not high blood pressure, it's not rheumatoid arthritis, not diabetes anymore, it's not Sjogren's disease. Number one, all the doctors agree is due to the excessive screen time that people are basically facing these days, from remote working, online gaming, everything, you name it. So that's the number one cause of dry eye these days.
Wow.
So, yeah, and there's no effective solution to it, honestly.
And when did it start? When did you start seeing this difference?
I noticed that about 10, 15 years ago, and the ages of the patients are getting younger and younger. And basically, you advise them to minimize their screen time, drink more water. Easier said than done. Most patients are not exactly compliant, especially the younger adults. Most people think they're invincible, and they think dry eye is too much. They feel it's just maybe same as a thirst. So no big deal if they don't drink enough water, if they don't keep their eyes hydrated. There's a lot of other issues down the road. So that's why I decided to come up with the beverages, since everyone is happy to go out and grab an energy drink or anything. A lot of energy drinks out there. I'm not sure how beneficial they are health-wise, but why not create a drink that's tasty and also good for your eyes?
Okay.
And that everyone can benefit from.
And back when you opened your practice, was this a common problem? What was the trend back then?
Back then, the dry, I would say less than 10%. Honestly, 10-15%. I have two types of patients. One is back then when I was working with the LASIK Center, we tend to get people with dry eye post LASIK, and a lot of time those people are also computer users. They're programmers. They're insurance agents. Whatever. So we see those patients are having dry eye issues. So I know there's a little correlation between screen time and dry eye. But about 10, 15 years ago, this issue is just getting out of control. And nowadays, especially since the pandemic, more than half of my patients are getting dry eyes. I think the numbers right now being published are being a little conservative. I think the true numbers are much, much higher. Yeah, that's why a lot of new dry eye medication, all of a sudden, if you see the way they're selling right now, their market cap, everything, is growing exponentially right now because the market is so big, it's growing so fast.
And so when you started, it was about 10%.
About 10%.
It started growing until now that it's
at least minimum 50%, maybe more.
And then when you ask them, the ones that have dry eye, I imagine are typically on screens.
Yes, yeah, I would say 90%. Yeah, so it's a screen time. Even the retired people back then, they will still go out and buy newspapers. People don't buy newspapers anymore. They literally just in the morning open up their iPad, they can get all the news they wanted, and it just become an issue even. So from 4 or 5 year old to 95-year-old, A lot of them on the screen all the time.
Wow.
Mhm.
And do you see this problem in older people, younger people, everybody who has it?
Everybody, pretty much everybody. Yeah, that's why I have patients 7.5-year-old getting pretty moderate dry eyes. I mean, absolutely ridiculous.
Wow. And I imagine by the time they're teenagers and they get a phone and they're 8 hours on
Oh
the
yeah,
phone.
yeah. That's why I'm seeing a lot of those already.
So you see it in teenagers and then you see it in the workforce.
Yes, absolutely.
And right now, you develop the eye drink and you tell your patients to take it.
Yes, yes. I have basically introduced the eye drink to my patients, and then they loved it. They buying like crazy. I had to put a stop to it because we pretty much sold out the first shipment within 2.5 days.
Wow.
And then we just right now collecting their information. Once we have the next production ready to go, they'll be the first one to receive the eye drink.
Okay. And what is in it?
Primarily, eye drink. It's got all the key ingredients, scientifically proven ingredients from major study over the decades. There's a vitamin called AREDS2, AREDS2, and that's like the gold standard in the eye care industry. Whenever you have a macular issues, retinal issue, that's the vitamin that we recommend patient taking. So the eye drink incorporate all the ingredients at the right ratios, everything in there. And on top of that, we added the essential fatty oil, omega-3, EPA, DHA, which is essential for dry eyes. And also it's a 15.9, 16.9 ounce bottle, so that will keep you hydrated as well. We are targeting screen-induced dry eyes and also trying to minimize any macular issue down the road, because we know the screen time, not just the dry eye, but there's also potential macular problem down the road. So the blue light generated from the screen that we have, LED screen, potentially can penetrate all the way to the retina and damage your macula. We do have instrument to quantify the damage, that can measure the macular pigmentation density there. I do have that instrument there to prove that people who are on screen all the time, their number tend to drop, the pigment density tend to drop. And also that I've spoken to a very world-renowned retinal specialist, Dr. Michael Talentino. They were doing in vitro and vivo studies on the blue light damage to the macular cells. And the data are very concerning. So that's why we incorporate all the key ingredients. We're not selling snake oils. Every ingredient that we use is scientifically proven. There's a ton of articles to prove that those ingredients work to protect the eyes.
And if somebody's on the screens 8 hours or 12 hours a day, and they don't take care of their eyes, what can happen in the long run?
Obviously, initially it's a dry eye issue. The eyes get drier. Obviously, there are a lot of study came out. If you spend 5 hours or more on your screen, 99% of the time you'll have eye problems.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just 3 hours. The number is about 92%. So there are a lot of data, and those numbers came out before the pandemic.
Oh,
right?
wow.
I'm pretty sure that since the pandemic, it'll be even more worrisome if you look at if there are the numbers available. Hopefully we will have those numbers available pretty soon. So dry eye is an issue. And we also know the blue light, the high energy blue light, which is, the wavelength is about 400 to 450, around that range. And the reason we're concerned about the blue light is the wavelength of the blue light is literally next to the UV light. And it's already proven that we know what UV light can do to your eye, to your skin, everything. Okay? So there is decades of data on it. And the wavelength of blue light literally is next to it, because between 400 and below, that's UV light. Between 400 to 500, that's blue light. And the screen, the blue light generated by the screen is between 400 and 450. So I'm seeing more young adults getting cataracts. And my youngest one right here, patient-wise, 17-year-old, she's on a screen cell phone all the time, on her iPhone all the time. She had a very early sign of cataract. I took pictures to document it. Mom didn't believe me first. When she saw the picture, she almost freaked out. Okay? I've seen her for years, every year, and then she never had that issue before until about 3 years ago. She started developing very early cataracts. But we have people late 20, 30-year-old getting cataracts. So that's another issue, even though it's a kind of controversial issue right now. Some doctors didn't want to believe that, but there's all the evidence out there. So cataract is another thing. The major issue is actually the macular issues. Blue light penetrate all the way to the retina. The most central area of the retina is called macula. So you hear people talk about macular degenerations, AMD, age-related macular degenerations. I'm seeing more and more younger people getting signs of macular degeneration. So we're talking about 40, 45-year-old. When we did the macular pigmentation density test, their number are dropping like crazy. So you can predict eventually they can develop the macular degenerations a few more years. So that's another thing that we worry about. So those are the key thing about the screen time, dry eye, and the macular problem. Cataract is a little controversial right now, but we're definitely seeing more cataract in the eye care industry right now. If you talk about outside of eye care industry, because I do a presentation for NASA, for National Ergonomic Associations, there are documents saying that there are younger people in the dermatology field, for example, they are seeing more and more melanoma among younger people from neck up to the forehead in this area. And those are not the ones who spend a lot of time outdoor playing sports. They see a lot of those melanoma in office workers. Right? So I think there's a correlation between blue light and some skin changes. I haven't looked into too much, but I'm pretty sure if you Google it, there could be more white paper talking about that. And there's also a study from out of Spain. A lot of office workers, younger workers right now male workers are getting prostate issues. So they think potentially the blue light can create a lot of free radical causing the circulation issues, especially people who sit there all day not moving. Younger men are getting more prostate issues. And then there's also tamoxifen resistant breast cancer right now, breast tumor, right? And they think there's a little correlation between the blue light to it. So we're in the very, very infant stage right now as far as how much damage the blue light can do to our bodies. But just in the eye care industry alone, it's pretty scary because we have hard evidence to back it up.
Wow. And all of this together is why you came up with the eye drink.
Yes. Yeah. I think there's got to be a better way that people are willing to be, at least trying to make them more compliant. There's also always a pain point asking people to take vitamins every day. A lot of times they don't do it. They're not able to, at least my patient base, the compliance rate is about 10%. 10, 15%. A younger crowd, forget it. Their compliance rate is probably less than 1%. Okay. But if you ask them to drink a beverage, buy it, I'm pretty sure the compliance rate will be much higher, especially when the beverages are good tasting like ours. That's why I decided to work on this project that everyone can benefit from.
You get the vitamins, but then you get the compliance because
Yes.
if they buy the vitamins and don't take them, it doesn't work, of course. So now you are catering to the consumer.
Also keep the consumer hydrated. That's another issue. Just by taking vitamins, taking omega-3 doesn't necessarily help the dry eye if you don't drink enough water. The beverage itself can keep you hydrated. Our tear film, every time we blink, the upper lid will come down and basically spray a layer of tear over the eyeballs. That tear alone is about 94 to 98% water. So if you don't drink enough water, just by popping fish oil and vitamins, it's not going to help. So you got to drink more water too. So the beverage format will help basically those issues.
Got it. That's interesting. And one of the things that I noticed is when we started working together and I started noticing my eyes and speaking with people about eyes in general, I found out what you already knew. Everybody has dry eyes. It's just that we didn't know what to call it. It's itchy eyes. It's my eyes hurt a little bit. My eyes hurt when I blink. My eyes are hurting when I'm staring at the computer. But then when I start analyzing the feeling, I realize, wait, it's all dry eye.
Yeah.
So I think when people start watching this video, I think they will realize when they pay attention that they're used to, which is even more dangerous. They're used to their eyes being dry.
Yeah.
And now they can have a drink that helps with dry eye, where before maybe drops or maybe just hydration or maybe just nothing, which is what most people do, especially young people, right? I've never seen teenagers using eye drops, for example.
Right now, it's the eye drop itself. Obviously, there are a lot of good medications out there, but they don't last long. That's another issue. And just by using medication, eye drop itself, a lot of time, if you're continuously, not drinking enough water, continue, staring at your screen on a computer, cell phone, it's not going to help that much. And if you look at the price of the eye drop these days, they're crazy high for dry eyes. I don't think there's anything below $400 per bottles, right? And the highest is close to $900.
Wow.
And, per bottle, and you need one every month. Imagine doing that. Imagine your insurance doesn't pay for it. And then the dry eye, the problem with dry eye is Eventually, people get used to it. Your eyes will become less and less sensitized by the irritations. Then you lose the sensation to the cornea. Oh, just yesterday, I had a patient. She's been dry forever, 4 or 5 years, maybe more. She was on her cell phone, or I'm sorry, on her iPad all the time. She's a retired lady. She came in yesterday, emergency came in because eye was so painful in the morning. She came in and started getting ulcers on the cornea. It has to take to that point the patient started developing ulcer on the cornea before she's realized how bad the problem it was. Before that, she just kind of ignore it or cut down on her iPad. Obviously, it's easier said than done. Using eye drop, she's semi compliant, drinking more water. No, she drinks lots of tea, which would probably make the eyes even drier because teas are natural diuretics. So she doesn't drink water, and then that's why she developed ulcer. It was so painful. She had to walk in. We had to squeeze her in, and then it was ulcer. I show her, and now hopefully she learned her lesson. The dry eye eventually can cause a lot more issue, and luckily she dodged the bullet because the location of the ulcer is not right at the center of the pupil. She was above the pupil, dodged the bullet. Imagine that ulcer is right at the center, okay? And even if we do everything, try to minimize the scarring, there's still a chance of getting scarred right at the center of the pupil, and her vision will be permanently damaged. And
Wow.
She literally dodged a bullet yesterday.
Wow. That's a big problem that we have in modern computer society. And where online can they buy the drink right now?
Right now, we're selling directly from our website. It's theidrink.com or .coms to buy directly from it. Obviously, eventually, we'll expand to other channels.
Retail stores, pharmacies, natural channel, things like that.
Doctor's office, maybe.
.com is the best bet for now, and then stay tuned to see the product in mass retail soon. And it can be delivered to their house, right? Because if you need to drink one a day, they can get a 30-day supply delivered to their house.
Yes.
That way it's easy. You have it all the time for you, for your kids, for everybody in the family.
Ideally, it's one a day. It depends on your screen time, up to 4 bottles a day.
Okay. It's one for every 2 hours?
We'll find out more about that. It doesn't spend more than 2 hours these days.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, the 2 hour is a dream, right? I rarely spend 2 hours.
If you spend 8, 9, 10, 12 hours a day on the screen,
Yes.
and up to 4 bottles.
Okay. And the way people need to think of this is instead of reaching for a Starbucks or a Coca-Cola or an energy drink or something else, this is a ready-to-drink product. It's tasty, so people will drink it just for the taste, even without knowing that it's good for you. People drink it just for the taste. So these people with dry eye can just substitute whatever beverage of choice they're taking right now, whether it's an energy drink or a Starbucks coffee or something like that, for this drink. I think that's the easiest, fastest way of thinking about it, by not thinking about it. You just have it in your refrigerator, you're thirsty, you drink one, and now you're doing something good for yourself and for your eyes. All right, Roger, thank you very much for your time, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you.